I'm heading home again, my skull pounding with one of those unbearable headaches. The doctors at the VA swear it's the metal plate lodged in my head. I call bullshit. That plate has been there for a decade. But these headaches? They only started about 5 months back, right around the time my wife of 3 years took that job as a receptionist at the law firm in town. Let me set the scene for you. My name is Bobby Turner. I served 4 years as a Marine back in the 60s. You can guess what happened next. I took a mortar to the head. And yeah, I'll call it what I damn well please. Remember, I'm the one walking around with a plate in my skull. After months in hospitals, I was discharged and sent back home to the farm. Let's cut to the chase. I was on disability, but it wasn't enough to live on, so I went back to school. Now, I operate heavy equipment for the county. I keep a grader and a backhoe in the barn behind the house. On days like today, I'm usually out smoothing the sand roads. But today? Today was an office day, what we call sitting in a classroom, drowning in new federal, state, and county regulations. I lasted about 2 hours before I had to lie down. My boss knew about my condition and didn't argue when I told him I was leaving. Like I said, I don't buy that these headaches are from the plate. No, there's something else, something off. 6 months ago, my wife decided she wanted to work. I fought her on it. The farm, the house, it all came to me when my dad passed. With my disability and my job, we had more than enough. But she pushed and I gave in. She landed a job at a law office as a receptionist. I warned her about the founder's son. I knew him from school. Tall, rich, handsome, and a real ladies' man. He dated every pretty girl in sight and never shut up about his conquests. We both played sports, and in the locker room, he'd strut around naked, bragging about his big banana and how no girl could resist it. As the song goes, rich kids go to college, poor kids go to war. That's exactly how it played out. When I came home, he was a lawyer, and I had a plate in my head. Last night, my wife and I had another fight. I want to start a family. She wants to wait. For how long? She won't say, but she keeps avoiding my eyes when we talk. I know something's wrong, and I think I know what it is. Now, let's talk about my wife, Sue. I met her 4 years ago. She'd worked as a receptionist straight out of high school. She'd had boyfriends, wasn't a virgin. Neither was I. We dated for over a year before I asked her to marry me. She grew up in a city 2 counties over and had never lived on a farm. But she told me it was her dream, living in the country, riding horses, tending a garden. She wanted 4 kids. Sounded like my kind of woman. We got married, and for the first couple of years, everything was perfect. I bought us 2 horses, and we rode all the time. We even started taking overnight trips, camping in the forest. Then she started talking about working. I suspected something, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I'm 6 feet tall, weigh 190, and I keep myself in shape. I'm told I'm good looking. Sue is 5'8", about 115 pounds, with blonde hair, blue eyes, and nice, sensitive 34B breasts. We both drive nice cars. Me, a Ford truck. Like I said, I can feel the disturbance growing stronger as I pull up to the farm. And there it is, the attorney's blue Corvette parked in front of my house. I cut the engine and coast to a stop. In the glove box, there's a 1911 Colt 45. I chamber around. This ends today. I slip in through the side door and move quietly into the den. I hear them in our bedroom. As I start down the hall, I spot a letter on the coffee table addressed to me. I pick it up and read, Bobby, I want you to know I did love you once, and I'm sorry it turned out this way, but it is what it is. I met Paul about 8 months ago while shopping at the mall in Memphis. He took me to lunch, we had a few drinks, and all those stories about his big banana had me curious. We ended up at a Ramada Inn. I was hooked. When the job opened up at his office, he got me hired. We spent a couple of days a week together, intimate, either in his office or at his house. Those late nights and Sunday afternoons, they were with him. We fell in love. Now he has to go to Miami for a client, and he invited me. When we get back, I'll file for divorce and move into his house. We'll be gone about a week, so that'll give you time to cool down. I know how hot-headed you can be. Bobby, I'm sorry to hurt you like this. I really did love you, but his banana, it touches me in places I've never been touched. Please try to understand, Sue. She's about to find out just how hot-headed I can be and how I'll never understand. I creep down the hall and stand at the bedroom door. Paul's on top of her, going at it like his life depends on it. I tap the door with the barrel of the .45. They both freeze and look up. Paul jumps, his jism spraying everywhere. Bobby, you scared the hell out of me. Put that gun down and we'll get dressed and leave. He's smirking. Paul, just shut up and stand there while I talk to my wife. Look, you're not going to shoot anybody, he replies. I fire the first round over his head, into the wall. Sue starts screaming. Bobby, please, just let us leave. I'll divorce you. I won't take a thing. Just let us go. I read your letter in the den. This is all about his big banana. Pretty much, she admits. I glance at Paul. He's grinning. That pisses me off. His limp banana is hanging between his legs. I put a round an inch above its head. That's when things get loud. Paul's screaming, clutching at his banana, now about 2 inches shorter than it was a minute ago. When he grabs it, the pain must hit harder because he screams louder and drops to his knees beside the bed. He's bleeding bad. Then he starts vomiting. Must have had a big breakfast. He rolls onto his side, mumbling something about my ancestors. Sue's sitting on the bed, knees pulled up to her chest, staring at me. You read the letter? Yes. He made me put in that line about his big banana, but it was true, wasn't it? Yes. He just wanted you to know. He likes bragging about it. Bobby, please! I need an ambulance! Paul gasps. I look down at him. No, you don't. You need a grave. My next round hits him in the left eye. What brains he had are now on the floor behind him. Sue goes quiet. Bobby, please. I never gave you sloppy seconds, or even seconds. The days we were together, I came home with a headache, or on my period or something. Any excuse so you wouldn't find out. What's this cheating woman thinking? That I'll forgive her, and we'll live happily ever after? She smiles. I smile back. Thanks. My next shot hits her in the forehead. I wrap their bodies in sheets from the bed and carry them out to the Corvette. I put them in the passenger seat, just like I found them, naked. I find his keys in his pants pocket and drive them out behind the barn, out of sight. I clean up the room, open the windows, and spray air freshener to kill the smell of vomit. I stuff all the paper towels and clothes into a garbage bag and toss it on top of them in the car. Next, I go to the barn and fire up the backhoe. In less than 2 hours, everything is buried and covered. I don't bother saying words over them. The devil wouldn't listen anyway. I head back to the house and call the sheriff's office. Sheriff Parker answers. I tell him I found a letter. My wife's running off with that staying attorney, Paul. I ask for his advice. Bobby, call a divorce attorney and get things rolling. When they get back, get them served. It's best to stay ahead of things like this. I hang up and call an attorney in the next county. I make an appointment for the next day, bring the letter, and she makes copies. It's in Sue's handwriting, so it's entered as evidence. She'll have the papers ready when they return. I pack up all of Sue's things in garbage bags and set them beside her car in the garage. The next day, I'm back out grading roads. The disturbance is gone. You can guess the rest. They never came back. 10 days later, I'm getting calls from the law office asking if I've heard from my wife. 2 weeks after that, the sheriff's office sends a detective to take a statement. I refer him to my attorney and show him Sue's stuff sitting by her car, waiting for her. I never hear from him again. About a month later, the feds show up one night after I get off work. They've got questions. Do you know a Jose Gonzalez? No. Should I? How about Emmanuel Gonzalez? Him either. What's this about? They explained that the client Paul was heading to Miami to see was Jose, Manuel's father. Paul had represented him in a drug trafficking case but screwed up during the trial. He asked a question he didn't know the answer to, and it blew the case wide open. Manuel was found guilty and sentenced to 50 years. Jose wanted Paul to handle his son's appeal. He wired $100,000 to Paul's firm and asked him to come to Miami to discuss the case. Paul, being the idiot he was, thought he was in for more money and decided to take my wife, the woman he'd been sleeping with for almost a year. Paul filled up his Corvette in town. We know because he used his credit card. The feds think he picked up Sue, and they headed for Miami. No other gas receipts. So the Colombians must have gotten to them before they stopped. What does Jose have to say about it? Nothing. He went into the hospital a week after they disappeared and died 6 days later. We never got to question him. I tell them they're welcome to look through Sue's stuff. It's all in garbage bags in the garage. That won't be necessary. We'd just like a copy of that letter for our files. No problem. I give them a copy and they leave. That was over 30 years ago. I haven't felt a disturbance in the force since the day I buried Sue and Paul under what's now my hog pen. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Your support helps push my content further. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.